Welcome back. It's a new year, mid-January already, can't believe it. Can't believe how time flies. But we've got a new project I'm working on, and I've decided to supercharge my rig. So I have a M122 Eaton supercharger off of a GT500 that I bought, I bet 10 years ago. It's been sitting on the shelf. Got it off, dusted it off. Bought an 8-rib pulley for it. Got that installed. I have a Holley Lo Ram intake, which I believe that's shown in actually both pieces in a couple of shorts. And I have a plate partially made up to adapt it. So that's where we are about now. I'd like to go to an 8-rib setup. And so after much searching, I finally found a balancer that is 8-rib that'll work with my motor. I will, however, have to change from truck spacing to Corvette spacing as far as my bracketry and possibly the accessories. But I've got to work around working on an infusion right now and making my own bracketry to mount a truck power steering pump and a truck alternator, keeping the Corvette spacing, also adapting to 8-rib using Dirty Dingo pulleys. So let's get on to the balancer here. Let's get you repositioned and we'll do an unboxing. Alright, what I got here is a new balancer. Summit C2501. It's under their brand, and I'm pretty sure it's made by Power something or another out of Australia. Got our instructions here. LS1, Camaro, Firebird, GTO, Corvette, etc., etc., G8. Oh, get her out of the box here. Heavy. Move this box out of the way. It's a very nice SFI rated balancer. And as you can see, it does have the 8 ribs. So I have a nice wide belt, so I hopefully limit the amount of supercharger slip, if any. I'm not going to be running high RPM, but I've had run Eatons before. I had a 80 Malibu back 2 decades ago, 20 years ago now, that I had a tune port on, and I had twin M90s on it. Long before YouTube, even before the internet was still in infancy. But I can't say infancy, it was there. There were forums. They hung out mostly on the 3rd gen F-body forum at that time. But that car's long gone. But now it's time to get back into doing some supercharging. And this is the balancer I'm going to use. Alright, welcome back. So, as you can see, this is an LS3. It doesn't matter though as far as for what I'm doing. All the bracketry and placements the same. Also has the right pulley on it. This is also, it is 6-rib. But I have the model for a truck pump and the alternator. And as you can see, I've been working on getting some positioning for pulleys. Fortunately, I cannot find a model for the intake or the M122. But for my purposes, this should be plenty. My projected routing at this point is to come up from the crank, around the tensioner, around the alternator, kick it up, come down under the water pump, around the blower, back under this idler, around the power steering pump, over this idler and back down. Should give me a really good wrap on all the pulleys. Come over to the top view. You see I've got plenty of spacing. This is going to be fairly wide, which is typical with the Corvette spacing. My rig, it shouldn't be an issue. I've got nothing out there in that space. I've also got one bracket tentatively designed for the power steering pump. Let's see, where's the pump here? We'll go ahead and pump. Yeah, it's the power steering pump. And the pulley, let's go ahead and hide the pulley so you can see move the pulley. And this is the bracket that I've got lined up currently. And we'll go ahead and hide this pulley as well. So this is the front bracket. And then I will have spacers bolting to the head. And then back here, this still shows the original bracket here. But I'm going to come off these same locations here, off the back of the pump, with a 90-degree bracket. And there's a mounting boss here that I can bolt to. So I'm going to still have to design this bracket. That's next. Then I'll bolt the back of the pump to here. That's that location right there. That should secure the water pump. Now over on this side, this tensioner is bolted to the stock location on the LS1 style water pump. And I do have one of those on order. Should be here tomorrow. I still have the alternator out in space, and this idler out in space. This idler will be on a spacer going through this bolt and into the head. This idler is here. I need to make a bracket for it. There are several, actually I think there's a bolt hole right here as well, so I should be able to just make an appropriate spacer and a long bolt to bolt that one into place. So I still have the 2 plates I'm going to need for the alternator. I believe this is going to work in this 3D space. It shows that it will. Be interesting to see once I get on my motor to see how close it actually is. Should be accurate. We'll find out shortly. But that's where I'm at right now. Tomorrow we'll go outside in the garage, which is currently 20 degrees out, and we will get that balancer installed on the motor, because everything is based off of that. All my spacing is going to be relevant to the face of that balancer. So get it installed. I'll be able to determine at that point where the blower goes on the plate forward to back on the motor. Once that is acquired, from there it's just a matter of getting these brackets made up, and I'll cut them on the plasma cutter, spacers made up, and get the stuff bolted together. I plan to have everything fitted on I have a spare motor, as you've seen in the garage. Everything's mocked up on there, so I can just drop and play on my Jeep, so I don't have a whole lot of downtime. So we'll pick it up tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
The next day.
Welcome back to the channel. Sunday evening, we wait for parts to arrive, which they now have. Last I went ahead and installed the balancer. It's winter out here. I don't have any heat in the garage currently, so it's about 30 degrees out here. So this motor out here is very, very cold. I just took my map torch, heated up the hub, kind of good and warm, and it slid right on. And ran a crank bolt on it. Didn't crank it all the way down, but at least it's seated. So my distance from here to here should be good to go. From there I need to put on the water pump, which is what I was waiting on. So I have a LS style water pump. I'll go ahead and throw it on real fast and get it bolted on. And then from there I'm going to put well, you know what I might do first? Take it back. I'm not going to put the water pump on yet. I'm going to determine the spacing from here to here. And we'll do that with a piece of angle iron and a clamp. And please excuse my messy garage. It is very messy. I really did get a good opportunity to clean it up before winter hit. Now I'm stuck. Come on. There we go. I need it real tight, I just need it snug. So it's flat on the face there. There we go. So that's bolted on there. Oh, actually, it's pretty close to where it needs to be. Wow, I just eyeballed that. I'm off by about 1/16. So I'm going to take this pulley around, bring that up. Just kissing this. Angle iron. We're good there. See, pretty square on my plate. Needs to come over just a touch. There and good there. So there we go. So that's where the supercharger is going to sit. Go ahead and throw on this water pump. My bolts over here. Actually, water pump bolts are a little short. We won't be using gaskets. That's alright, I'm not basing everything off of this anyway, as far as my bracketry. Guess I should order up some water pump bolts. These at least will thread in a couple threads. Enough anyway for me to see. And there's my wrench. Just make it snug. No reason to torque it down. I don't want to throw my threads out. You know, this block needs bored over. There's a water pump. Oops. Go ahead and plug that. Get that out of the way there. So we're good on that. Good on that. Now this plate is currently on backwards. I wasn't sure where this was going to land, but the plate is, for the most part, can be flipped 180 degrees. The only difference is the two bolts on this end are through hole, and where they are threaded on this side because the bolts come in from underneath. Outside of that, it's symmetrical as far as the rest of the bolts. So you can flip it back and forth, no big deal. I can see now that this length will work fine, so what I'll do is I'll take it to work tomorrow. I'll cut the excess off of it and prep the front end of the plate for tomorrow. At this point though, I can get my calipers, which are conveniently are inside my house, and get my bolt spacing from the front bolt of the supercharger to the front bolt of the plate. That gets me my distance, and I'll take my supercharger into work, and I'll take my plate into work, and I'll get these holes, do like I did with the plate, using a transfer punch. Hit the first one down, drill it, tap it, bolt it down, make sure she's square. Do the second one, get it drilled and tapped. That'll secure the supercharger, and then I'll go out and do the rest of the perimeter bolts. But we're good to go here. I think it's going to go look really well. I'd like to pick up, I have a 105 amp factory alternator on my rig right now. There is one on Marketplace. It's a 145 amps. It's the upgrade amp, or excuse me, alternator. I keep saying amp. Alternator. I'd like to go with a larger amperage alternator. If I got to make the brackets, the spread's just a bit different, so I might as well go ahead and open it up and do it for a 145. It's going to sit in here somewhere. Power steering pump's going to be off over here. So I do have this bracket drawn up. I need to draw up this bracket. So that's where I'm going to go next. is get this plate finished and start drawing up my bracket over here. But that's for the next video. This is Al's Garage. We're supercharging a 5.3. Stick around, there's more to come. Thanks for watching. See you next time.